recent question that I had from a landlord. So now this landlord was UK resident and domiciled, but now he's moved offshore, he's moved overseas, but he owns numerous rental properties here in the UK. And the question that he posed was, does my travel expenses, because this particular landlord comes to the UK every month to manage his rental properties, and do his expenses, his flight costs, travel and subsistence, hotel expenses and the rest of it, is it allowable as an expense against his rental income? And the answer is, well, in order to determine or ascertain the answer, you need to look at the expenses rules for any business, for any trade, and you primarily look at the wholly and exclusively test. So as long as these expenses, so it could be hotel expenses, parking fees, toll charges, fuel, in this particular instance, flight costs, if it's wholly and exclusively for the purposes of the rental business, then yes, I don't see why not. It would be allowable against rental income. Now, there is one big issue quite easily fallen into, which is a duality of purpose. Now, if there's a duality of purpose, then it would not satisfy the wholly and exclusively test, and therefore none of the expenses would be allowable. So in this particular instance, again, if this landlord who is now overseas, if he comes to the UK to manage his properties, but he also comes for a holiday, he visits his parents, his family, his friends, then that would be duality of purpose, and therefore the expenses will not be allowable. Now, naturally, the next question is, how would HMRC know? And most of you would get this question from landlords: how would HMRC know? And my view or my answer is no comment. This is the legislation, this is the advice. In terms of whether HMRC find out or not, that's entirely up to you how you want to deal with it. But the legislation says that as long as it's wholly and exclusively for business purposes, then yes, it would be an allowable expense. And duality of purpose also needs to be considered. I hope that makes sense.